Hello, and welcome to my channel, where we almost exclusively only talk about John Walker. Okay, hopefully I kept at least 3 of you after that. I'm half kidding, guys. But John Walker is a big priority here, which you'll find out soon enough. This is my first little intro into YouTube. You may know me from TikTok, maybe Tumblr, possibly Instagram. However, if this is your first introduction to me, buckle up, it's gonna be a ride. Now, on here in the Marvel space, I go by Anya. A few of you might pick up that I took that name from Thunderbolts, because that is the name of the girl in Yelena's memories. Yeah, sorry. Now, over on TikTok and Tumblr, I have the handle Sunshine Sentry. That is because I really liked Sentry the first time I saw Thunderbolts. But over here, we're gonna go with the Star Spangled Menace to give a little nod to John over here. You may also notice that this mic is not actually working. That is because it is the only one that I have at the moment, so I'm just practicing, and John is so graciously holding it for me. So, Marvel. I grew up in the MCU. Every MCU movie that came out, my uncle would take me and my brother to the theater and we'd see it. I was raised into being a Marvel fan. However, around 2020 or so, I fell out of the Marvel fandom because Marvel started producing the worst media possible. Lifelong Marvel fan title thrown in the trash until May of 2025. Now, back in May, I am sure you know exactly what movie came out, and that was Thunderbolts. And if it wasn't obvious by the username and the obsession with a certain character behind me, I really liked it. It launched me right back into the Marvel fandom. It's like I was watching the Avengers all over again on the big screen. Then, as soon as I could, because I really like editing, I got my hands on that Thunderbolts scene pack and I started making edits. I thought, why not just throw them on TikTok for fun? So that's what started my journey with the fan accounts, is my edits. Now, my love for that movie sent me back to the theaters 13 times. Yes, 13. In fact, I have a picture frame, it is behind me, with all the tickets framed in it. It's like a trophy. Now, I said that I was a MCU fan for basically all my life, because that's pretty much as far as it went. Just the MCU. I had never touched a comic book in my life until Thunderbolts. See, I liked the Century so much that I went to the only place I knew that had comics, which was a consignment shop next to where I work, and I spent 3 hours going through all those comics with just the hope that there could be a Century comic. Those comics were not sorted, like in any way, shape, or form. It was just DC, Marvel, no alphabet, nothing, just thrown in the attic of this consignment shop. And I found them. I found those comics. Behold, I could not find all of them, but I found like 7 out of the 8, I think. And I read the other one online, to fill in the gaps. I could have done that from the start, but I wanted these, and it was hard work, but I found them. There I was, deep into the Marvel fandom yet again. And it also reminded me why I left, and that is the fandom itself. And that started when I decided that this guy was my new favorite character. I went from the Sentry to US Agent really fast. So here's the story time about what led me here. I love US Agent, favorite superhero out of all of them. This started with Thunderbolts, maybe on the 3rd time in the theater, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like this miserable jerk. Then I watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and I was like, oh, I really like this miserable jerk. Now, with my newfound enjoyment of comic books and the lack of any more John Walker content, I went into the comics. The more I talked about John Walker, specifically comic book John Walker, on my very public TikTok, I was getting a lot of hate. Specifically, I made a comment on a video that said something about how directors make characters better, taking them from the comics. They make them less bad people when they put them in a movie. And of course, it was tagged with John Walker. I had read the US Agent comics. I did not realize how ingrained John Walker was into all these other comics. Didn't even realize that he was in the Captain America comics. And when I was using Marvel Unlimited, they don't even give you all those comics. So I thought, okay, he's got 3 US Agent comics, I'm just gonna read those sets and, joy. From those sets, there's like no reason to hate John Walker. They were pretty good. Like, all three of those comic lines were brilliant. So when I commented on this video, they replied with a video, which then led a lot of people to my page to leave a lot of very mean comments. Now I was ready. I was ready for the war. I looked deeper into John Walker's character, and I compiled all of his comics from start to finish. So all the way from Captain America into Thunderbolts Doomstrike. There's a lot of comics. He appears in a lot of comics, and I didn't even realize this at first. I was like, if I'm going to defend this character, then I have to do it properly, and if there are some things that suck about him, I also need to accept those. I'm cool with complex characters. Actually, I prefer it. I like a character that makes me think. Like, Loki was my favorite character back in 2012. Are we surprised? So I was ready to accept, oh yeah, he might be a little crappy in the comics, but you know, that's okay. That's how you write a good character. They have their flaws. However, the moment that I launched into John Walker's introduction, specifically getting all the way through his Captain America comics, I realized very quickly that this is the saddest story ever. I also started to realize that the things that people were saying, they were just repeating from what other people were saying, and specifically, they really like to ask ChatGPT, hey, what did John Walker do wrong in the comics? And ChatGPT lies to them, because I've read the comics. I've seen it, and that never happened. I wanted to make detailed videos about John Walker's character in the comics on my TikTok. TikTok's not a good place for that. It's better for short form content, which led me here. Now I have a series of videos planned that's going to go deep into John Walker's character, from start to finish in the comics. And trust me when I tell you, John Walker's story is some of the best storytelling I've ever seen. His character is absolutely brilliant. Mark Gruenwald was a brilliant writer. I am only jealous as a writer that I did not create this character, because of how brilliant it absolutely is. So, that is my main goal with this channel, and the path that led me to this channel. However, I do want to dive into all things Marvel, so definitely expect Marvel content, and specifically Thunderbolts content as well. Just gonna have some fun here. So to answer just a few of the Marvel Q&A questions, my favorite character is obviously US Agent. Second favorite character, the Sentry. Third favorite character is Loki. He only got knocked to third when Thunderbolts came out. My top 3 MCU movies, you guessed it. Number 1, Thunderbolts. Number 2, Thor Ragnarok. And number 3, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. As far as comic series go, number 1, US Agent 1993. Number 2, Force Works. And number 3, The West Coast Avengers. So if you're a Marvel fan and you enjoy long-form analysis content and vlog content, do stick around for the show. If you like short-form content like funny videos or edits, you should check out my TikTok, which is Sunshine Sentry, or I'll link it in the description. Or maybe you heard me mention John Walker and you turned around really fast. That's fine too. But even if you don't like John Walker, I urge you to stick around, because I'd like to change your mind on that. Anyway, I wish you all a lovely day, and farewell till next time.